The back-to-school mask battle. Good evening. I'm Glenn Mills. That's where we begin tonight at 6.
I'm Rick Aaron in for Emily Flores. Good to have you with us tonight. Today, the State Health Department unveiled a new COVID-19 plan for schools. The guidance requires masks under some circumstances, despite state law prohibiting any kind of mask mandate. ABC4's Nick McGurk explains.
Utah State epidemiologist telling the Board of Education here today that this isn't really a mask requirement. It's a choice. If you have an exposure to COVID and you want to stay in school, the guidance here is that you can do so if you stay masked in school. If you don't want to wear a mask, you should stay home.
But unfortunately, we're seeing the trend go up again, and this is specifically school-age children.
Compared to this time last year, COVID case rates in children have doubled. And public health officials today warning that case rates of COVID could quadruple what we're seeing now by October.
These kids are being affected, there's no question.
The state's epidemiologist laying out the facts before the State Board of Education today, highlighting more than 82,000 positive COVID cases so far. This is with kids 0 to 18, 752 of whom needed hospitalization.
I'm really concerned about the younger kids.
If board members express concern over state law prohibiting mask mandates, the health department today provided an outline with choices around masks. Federal CDC requirements do mandate masks on school buses for drivers and students. But the only requirement for masks in Utah schools is for students exposed to COVID who choose not to quarantine at home. The health department recommends a 10-day quarantine if you're exposed to COVID. But this year, they said today, districts can choose to have students stay in school even if they're exposed to the virus. The exposed student, though, must stay masked at all times in school. That's either for 10 days at school or after 7 days, they can test out.
So this allows people to come back to the classroom with masks on even after they've been exposed to COVID. And I'll point out that's not when they have COVID, only when they've been exposed to COVID.
Here's how the health department, by the way, defines exposure.
We consider someone exposed specifically someone who's shared a classroom, an activity indoors for more than 15 minutes, or an outdoor or an extracurricular activity indoors for more than 15 minutes.
Board members acknowledging state law leaves them powerless to do much more.
It feels like we're supposed to be doing something, but we're not, and we have no power to do so. So for me, it's somewhat frustrating, actually.
Now, broadly statewide, there's a 2% threshold, which essentially is this. If more than 2% of the student body tests positive for COVID, then everybody who wants to go to school has to test for COVID. Of course, if you test positive, you stay home, and if you're negative, you get to go to school. But the state epidemiologist even said today, by the time any school hits 2%, cases are pretty much out of control. At the Board of Education tonight, I'm Nick McGurk, ABC4 News.